A huge and unbelievable miss. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of Nelly Korda, two-time major champion, Olympic gold medalist, the most famous female golfer on the planet, calling out Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy directly. And here's the wild part, almost nobody else on the LPGA Tour has said a single word about it. Why? Because Nelly just dropped a truth bomb that the entire golf world has been too polite or too scared to talk about. See, when Tiger and Rory announced the WTGL, that's the women's version of their tech-infused indoor golf league, the headlines were all celebration. Great opportunity for women's golf, another platform for the LPGA. But Korda, she's not buying it. She thinks TGL had one chance to do something revolutionary, putting men and women on the same stage, competing for the same money, in the same league, and they completely blew it. Is she right? Or is there a reason nobody listened? Today we're going to break this thing wide open. The controversy, the numbers nobody wants to talk about, and the question at the center of all of it: should men and women golfers compete against each other? Buckle up, this is going to get uncomfortable. Alright, let's start with what actually happened. January 2026. The LPGA season is about to kick off, and Nelly Korda is at Lake Nona in Orlando, prepping for the Tournament of Champions. A reporter from Golf Week asks her about the WTGL, the women's version of Tiger and Rory's TGL League, that's set to launch at the end of this year. Now, the WTGL has already signed some huge names. World number 1 Gino Thidikool is in, Lydia Ko, Charlie Hull, Brooke Henderson, Lexi Thompson, Rose Zhang, basically every star except Nelly. So they ask her, "Are you joining?" And here's where it gets interesting. Korda doesn't just say she's undecided. She unloads. "I have mixed feelings on it, if I'm being very honest," she says. "And I'm surprised no other girls have, or no one's really spoken out about it." Then she drops the bomb. "I think it's a huge and unbelievable miss that we're not playing alongside the men." Boom, she goes on. "There's no greater way to grow the game, and it would have been revolutionary. It would have been the first time, I think, that men and women are on the same playing field, playing for the same exact amount of money." Now pause on that for a second. Nelly Korda, the face of women's golf, is publicly criticizing the biggest new venture in the sport. She's saying Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy had a once-in-a-generation opportunity to create something truly equal and chose not to. That's not a small statement. That's a direct challenge to the most powerful people in golf, and the silence from her fellow players, that's deafening. Charlie Hull's response when asked, "I'm just grateful for them giving us an opportunity, no matter what, really." That's the official company line. Be grateful, don't ask questions. But Nelly's asking questions. The question nobody else wanted to ask. Why separate but equal, instead of just? Let's give Nelly's argument its full due here, because it's compelling. TGL isn't regular golf. It's a simulator league. Teams compete in a custom-built arena using screens for long shots and a moving green for putting. It's entertainment. It's designed for TV. So here's Nelly's logic. If we're already changing the format this much, if it's already an entertainment product more than a pure sport, why not go all the way? Why not have mixed teams, men and women competing together? Think about it. Tiger and Rory could have had Nelly Korda on the same team as Scottie Scheffler, Charlie Hull playing alongside Rory himself, Lydia Ko and Jon Rahm strategizing together. That would have been revolutionary. That would have generated headlines around the world. First time men and women compete together for equal prize money in professional golf. Sponsors would have gone absolutely insane for that narrative. And here's Nelly's real point. Women's golf desperately needs exposure. The LPGA purses are a fraction of the PGA Tours. The TV ratings are lower. The casual fans don't know the players. What better way to introduce the world to Nelly Korda than by having her compete alongside or against Tiger Woods himself? Mixed doubles tennis draws massive audiences. The Grant Thornton Invitational, a mixed team event where Nelly actually teamed up with Denny McCarthy, was a hit. The format works, so why didn't Tiger and Rory go for it? Korda even says it herself. "I don't think there's a downside. I just think it would have been even greater to have both of them together." She's basically saying, "I'll take the WTGL, sure, but you left something bigger on the table." And honestly, it's hard to argue with that from a pure marketing perspective. Okay, now let's flip this completely around, because there's a reason nobody else on the LPGA Tour is echoing Nelly's complaint. There's a reason TGL went with separate leagues. And it's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. The physical gap between male and female golfers is massive, and it's not even close. Let me give you the numbers. Average driving distance on the PGA Tour in 2025, 294 yards. Average on the LPGA Tour, 256 yards. That's a 38-yard difference on every single drive. But wait, it gets more stark. Average clubhead speed for PGA Tour pros, about 115 miles per hour. Average for LPGA Tour pros, around 96 miles per hour. That's a 19-mile-per-hour difference. And in golf, clubhead speed is everything. Every mile per hour translates to roughly 2.5 to 3 yards of distance. The longest hitter on the LPGA Tour right now, Polly Mack, averages 289 yards. That would rank her dead last on the PGA Tour. The shortest hitter on the PGA Tour is around 273 yards. So even the longest-hitting woman in professional golf doesn't hit it as far as the shortest-hitting man. And here's where it gets really uncomfortable. The average male amateur golfer, not a pro, just your regular weekend hacker, drives the ball about 224 yards. That's almost the same as the average LPGA carry distance of 223 yards. Let me say that again. Tour-proven female professionals hit the ball about the same distance as average male amateurs. This isn't a knock on women's golf. It's just biology. Men have on average more muscle mass, more testosterone, greater upper body strength. The physics of generating clubhead speed favor them. Now here's the real question. If men and women played in the same league, head-to-head for the same money, who would win? You already know the answer. The men. Every time. Or at least almost every time. So what happens then? The women become supporting characters in their own league. They're there to lose to the men. They become novelty acts instead of stars. Is that equality? Or is that humiliation disguised as inclusion? But wait, you might say, TGL is a simulator. It's not real golf. Maybe the gap is smaller. Actually, no. TGL uses the same swing mechanics, the same physics, the same advantage for players who generate more clubhead speed and ball speed. Yes, there's a moving green and some video game elements. But when you step up to hit a driver in that arena, you're still swinging a real club at real speed. The simulator tracks your ball speed, launch angle, spin rate, all the same metrics that favor longer hitters on actual courses. If anything, TGL might amplify the gap, because without weather, wind, and course management variables, it often comes down to raw power and execution under lights. Mixed competition sounds nice until you see Bryson DeChambeau hitting 190-mile-per-hour ball speed and Nelly Korda hitting 160. The math doesn't care about narratives. This is where the conversation gets philosophical. When Nelly Korda says she wants men and women on the same playing field, playing for the same exact amount of money, what does she actually mean by equality? Because there are different kinds of equality. There's equality of opportunity, giving everyone the same chance to compete. And there's equality of outcome, making sure the results are distributed evenly. In sports, we generally accept equality of opportunity. Anyone can try out, anyone can play, but the outcomes, they're based on performance. Here's the brutal truth about golf. If you put men and women in the same event with no adjustments, the men would win almost every time. Not because women aren't skilled, not because women aren't dedicated, but because the physical inputs that generate distance and power favor male athletes. So what happens then? Women would never win. They'd never collect the big prize money. They'd never be featured as champions. The equality of being in the same league would produce deeply unequal results. That's why we have separate leagues. Not to exclude women, but to ensure they have a platform to be champions, to be stars, to collect trophies and prize money, and build their brands without being overshadowed by physical differences they can't control. Some people call separate leagues unfair. I'd argue they're the only way to create fairness. The WNBA exists because women deserve to be champions in basketball, not because they can beat NBA players. The LPGA exists because women deserve to be champions in golf, not because they can outdriven Bryson DeChambeau. When we conflate equality with sameness, we actually end up hurting the people we're trying to help. Here's where I'll give Nelly some credit though. Her frustration isn't really about TGL specifically. It's about the broader inequality in professional golf. The PGA Tour's total purse money last year was over $480 million. The LPGA, around $100 million. Less than a quarter. Tiger Woods reportedly made $100 million just from his TGL equity. The women, they're being invited as participants, not founders. Nelly Korda is one of the most marketable athletes in golf, male or female, and she's watching the men build billion-dollar empires while the women get the table scraps. So yeah, when she sees TGL and WTGL being separate instead of integrated, she's not just seeing a format decision, she's seeing the pattern continue. Men get the primetime slot, women get the spin-off. Men are the main event, women are the undercard. That's the frustration behind her comments, and I get it. So where does this leave us? Nelly Korda asked a question nobody else would ask, and she deserves credit for that. But the answer is complicated. Yes, integration sounds nice. Yes, equal prize money is a worthy goal. Yes, women deserve more exposure and opportunity in professional golf. But biological reality exists. Men hit the ball farther, faster, harder, and in a sport where distance matters, which golf absolutely is, that creates a competition gap that no format change can erase. Separate leagues aren't a sign of inequality. They're a recognition that fairness sometimes requires different stages for different competitors. The WTGL isn't a failure of imagination, it's a success of pragmatism. Nelly Korda can be the biggest star in her own league, or she can be the second best player on a mixed team. I know which one I'd choose. Look, this debate isn't going away. Gender equality in sports is one of the most complicated conversations we're having right now. And golf, with its individual format, its measurable distances, its physical demands, puts that tension front and center. Nelly Korda is right that TGL had an opportunity to try something revolutionary. But Tiger and Rory might also be right that separate is the smarter path forward, at least for now. The truth, probably somewhere in the middle. Men and women aren't the same. Their bodies aren't the same, their performance metrics aren't the same, but their value as athletes, their right to platforms and prize money and recognition, that should be equal, even if the competitions aren't. I'm curious what you think. Should TGL have been mixed from the start, or did they make the right call with the WTGL? Drop a comment. Let's talk about it. And if this video made you think, even if you disagreed with some of it, hit that subscribe button. We do hard conversations here. Thanks for watching.